Welcome back to Worldwide Exchange. Switching topics a little bit, amid the recent global slowdown, governments, of course, across the world have been forced to make pretty big cutbacks. And one area that's lost some priority is environmental policy. And our next guest says that's not such a bad thing because environmental agendas are actually going to stifle growth in Asia and other emerging markets. Let's bring in Ambassador Alan Oxley, chairman of the Apex Study Center. Alan, thanks for joining us. I guess it's an anti-environmental, but some of these regulations and things we need to, I cover a lot of rare earth issues, and they have these environmental questions in China. Don't you want to regulate these things just a little bit?
I don't think there's anything wrong with regulating it to get a sound environmental result, but that's actually not what we're facing here. We're facing judgments by major environmental groups, led in fact by the World Wildlife Fund, which is the world's biggest environmental group, who declared at this difficult time that they're going to set about a strategy to capture about 15 markets of key products, key food products, in order to drive its sustainability standards through the process. Now, the end result of this is only going to be increased costs for consumers and denial of products to buyers in emerging markets. It just doesn't make any sense at all.
So you're just basically in the camp that you, from your standpoint, you need to protect growth, and that's sort of your agenda, because it seems like you got to meet in the middle. And let me just ask the question, how much a problem will something like that be to growth? I mean, what's the impact?
Well, the impact is this. The announcement by the World Wildlife Fund is that it's going to transform markets. And it's identified 15, which are key ones where sourcing comes mainly from the developing countries to supply products. So they're talking about this with paper, timber, palm oil, soy, beef, dairy. And their intention is that they would pressure major companies in the supply chain, retailers and consumer goods, only to buy the products that they approve. Now, here's the rub. Their environmental standards are the ones that they think are best, and they're often not ones that are tuned to enable growth and production in the developing countries to expand. The result in the industrialised markets is that the products that then get put onto the market are also more expensive. So there's a double loser here. They're reducing the capacity of producers in poor countries to increase production, and they're pushing up the cost of products for consumers in industrialised markets.
I mean, part of the, it's Matthew Bishop here, I mean, part of the problem that has happened in the past has been that a lot of producers in developing countries have actually taken very short-term measures. They've, destroyed the environment in a way that has given them short-term profits, but actually left their economy and their underlying ecosystems much weaker, which has a huge drag on growth in the long run. So, isn't this more about short-term impact on growth versus long-term? And I mean, you've got to get the regulations right, but the World Wildlife Fund and so forth, I mean, are trying to get towards a situation where you don't have this sort of this crazy short-term behaviour in some of these developing countries.
Well, if you'll pardon my saying, that's the line that it puts to the donors, and those donors include Western aid agencies. But let me give you an example of how this can go horribly wrong. While the world's still struggling with this serious crisis, believe it or not, negotiations to create a new regime for regulating emissions of greenhouse gases is continuing. In this context, there's a $4 billion fund contributed by the United States aid agency, about $700 million, $1 billion from the Norwegian government, to fund the transition of developing countries in emerging markets to what they call low-carbon economies. Now, if we look at the case of Indonesia, this is a strategy which is designed to reduce production of quite valuable crops in palm oil, forestry, timber, and replace those with industries which are not established. I mean, this is really a form of green welfare to replace significant job-creating industries. Now, the point you've made here is it isn't the environmental issue the one that warrants this. In each case, and we've done this, I'm also chairman of an NGO called World Growth, we've examined the industries and looked at the environmental question, and sadly what we find is that environmental value which is being imposed on the emerging markets reflects the thinking and values of environmental groups in the rich countries and do not actually reflect the reality on the ground.
Alan, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but we are up against the clock. We do appreciate your insight today. Ambassador Alan Oxley, chairman of the Apex Study Center.